Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and I feel kind of motivated after looking at the animated Bumblebee to kind of stick with Bumblebee at least just a little bit by looking at this guy today. It is the Transformers Dark of the Moon Nitro Bumblebee. I know it's kind of jumping back in time, but this is how I sort of intend to kind of celebrate as we move closer to the release of the Bumblebee movie. Stick around, he's going to be our focus in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and I am your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. Stick around, have some fun with us here. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, and me everywhere. And this is a Bumblebee, and I'm not a huge Bumblebee guy. I'm not a big Bumblebee fan, and though the movie is coming out, and I will definitely see it, I'm not at all sold on the current movie line leading up to that. Don't like it, don't really see anything worth getting in it. That's why you haven't seen any of it covered here. Even in the studio series line, I appreciate the genius behind some of the engineering, but like, they're kind of flimsy and parts flop off and fall off. So to celebrate, I thought I'd go back and look at kind of, I'm going to call it a classic figure, but an underrated figure. And that's this guy, the Nitro Bumblebee from the Dark of the Moon line. And like, it is definitely stylized with his, you know, golden thrusters, though they are painted, and like all of this kind of molded in gunmetal gray detailing on his hood and roof and doors. Though I absolutely love the look that it gives this guy. He's supposed to look kind of armored up, kind of hench, and he definitely looks it, both in vehicle mode and in robot mode. And I think that everything comes together to make this guy absolutely fun. Who knew I'd say that a Bumblebee figure is fun? But I kid you not, this guy actually is. And to prove it, we're going to head over to the table and take a closer look at him. And as promised, here's a closer look at Nitro Bumblebee from the Dark of the Moon line. Now, like I said, this is my way of celebrating the upcoming Bumblebee movie, but I'm sort of tricking you just a little bit. I'm yanking your leg just a little bit because I actually got this guy in a baggie with two other figures. This guy cost me a grand total of $1. $1! It's an easy way to celebrate the Bumblebee movie when I can get a rather impressive deluxe class figure for $1. Now, I'm not going to grade him yet because we're starting him out in vehicle mode. This is the way he would have come in package. That's why I'm starting him this way. But we'll wait and give him his grades after. Before I get started at all, I want to give a few shout outs, because I haven't done it in a while, to Console Culture, Nightzilla, Agent Nerf, Caleb Young, and Pell Williamson. What can I say? Thanks for, you know, kind of jumping on board for the ride here. And I appreciate everybody, but like, you know, and I try to mention who I can, when I can. Believe me, you have no idea how much it is appreciated when you give me some of your time. Okay, that sounds a bit sappy. Let's get on to the plastic that is hinged up here to look like, you know, he's getting armored up for a big battle. And he does look like that. I really like the molded in gunmetal gray detailing on the hood, the roof, and the door there. And those golden thrusters with red paint in there, no less. The vehicle mode looks great. Yes, it would be nice if the rims were painted, but there's a lot to like here, and I can sort of overlook that. If it really bothers you, paint him silver, whatever. It's pretty easy to do, but I like this look. I do. It looks like a muscle car, and I absolutely dig that. He still rolls like a champion. If you're wondering just how big this is, it is about the same size as the Last Night Barricade or something like Reveal the Shield Jazz. It's pretty much the same width and length as those. Little bit shorter than Barricade, but same width. So it's, you know, it's kind of your standard deluxe size figure, no doubt about it. What about the conversion? Well, we're going to do that so that we can get into the grading of this guy. And the conversion is easy. Because I got this guy for $1, he came with no Mechtech accessory, and he didn't come with instructions. So I just had to figure it out, and it's pretty intuitive to figure it out. That's what I like. It's interesting, but not needlessly complicated. I'm going to kind of back things up a little bit here to give us room to work as he gets a bit taller while we unfurl him. So just give me a second, bear with me, because we're just going to adjust things here slightly. Okay, so now we have things adjusted in such a way that he should, hopefully, all stay in frame as we kind of get things taken apart here. I'm going to try and do this pretty quickly, because I think by now, all these years later, a lot of people kind of know this guy. Maybe they don't. It was a new mold. It was kind of a completely different transformation than we had seen for Bumblebees up to that point. And I would venture to say, somewhat different than what we tend to see in the modern age a little bit. It feels more cohesive, condensed, if you will. So we begin by really folding the front tire and fender back. We fold that all the way back, and we do that on both sides. Then we can even lift the doors off a little bit and lift the door off a little bit. No problem. We bring down an arm, and we bring down an arm. And then we can fold the whole front forward. Not bad so far. And this is kind of what we have at this point. The doors can rotate up and rotate up. And the chest can, it's weird. Like the chest is sort of articulated. It doesn't really pull out per se. You can sort of manipulate it as you want to manipulate it. Kind of like that, I guess. And then these shoulders, they can come up all the way. They're on like a gray armature in here, and you can bring them all the way up on that side and all the way up on that side. And they do lock in there, I believe. There. And we can pick the back off. When we pick the back off, this piece here, which is like his back windshield and those little rear windows, that can either go up over here. Now, in doing so, you lose a couple of ports here. Because in vehicle mode, he has a port on his hood, 2 ports on his roof, and then he has ports back here by like his trunk on either side. So he has 5 ports. You can move this up. It loses a couple of ports, or you can fold it up and under. I think it's officially supposed to be folded up and under, but I don't like that, so I'm doing it this way. And we bring all of that kind of like that. And this is sort of what we have so far for B. His legs, they go split. Now I'm going to adjust things slightly so that we can see his legs a little more closely. I wanted to show off his legs because I think they're really, really interesting the way that they're done. You come to the side and you fold up the kind of front part of the fender. So you come to this side and do the same thing. You fold up like the front part of the fender. And then you take the rear tire and fold it out to the side. Rear tire and fold it out to the side. In doing so, you're going to push this section back. You can't push it back on your own, but it's going to kind of do it automatically anyway. Now that you have those unfurled, you take the foot and how is it that this goes? You take there you go, and you fold it down under. So you took the tire and you folded it out to the side, and then you take the foot and you fold it down under, so that now really in essence what has happened is the rear tire has become like the ankle, the inner part of the foot. I think that that's genius because it's still kind of down around on his foot, but it's not down in such a way that you don't have like steady support for his feet. And part of the reason that I wanted to come in close to his legs is because when you plant this guy, like, he stays planted. He stands so well. Now that the transformation is done, because unfurling his legs was the last part, I can focus a little bit there on his glorious face. I love the sculpting, I love the gunmetal gray, and that blue used on his eyes absolutely pops. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so now we have Bumblebee kind of in all of his glory. He isn't striking the best pose here, but the bottom line is this. You flip back those front fenders and the front tires onto the doors. You kind of shimmy the doors off and you flip the hood down. Then you can kind of position the chest however you like. You can position these back door wings however you like because they can move around. The arms are on a gray, or the shoulders are on a gray armature that's down kind of by the hips. It's where they tab in for vehicle mode. You just untab them and bring that whole gray armature up to become the shoulders. All that leaves is the lower body. And for the lower body, quite simply put, you just split the two legs. You fold down the tire piece basically, which sort of pushes back the rear fender and I guess trunk piece. And then you flip the foot down. It's a lot of moving parts, but it's so interesting and so intuitive. Everything moves really the way that you think it should move, and I love that. Here he is, just so we can have a size comparison, here he is next to the Studio Series Stinger. And he's obviously taller here than Stinger. He was built at a different time. Stinger's kind of small for a deluxe. I looked at him in full in episode 390, and I love Stinger. I think he's fantastic. A lot of people don't, but I thought he turned out so good. Now, his conversion is genius. So interesting how the things move on this guy, but it's not intuitive. Not like Bumblebee over here. And here he is next to one of his most well-known foes, his arch nemesis, if you will, that being Barricade. And I looked at the last night version of this guy in episode 261. Actually, these two I think look really good together. They both look very muscled up. Like, let's see this matchup, man. I'd be so cool with that. I would be so down with that. And here he is with the Age of Extinction Optimus Prime. And I looked at him a long time ago, around episode 70 or so. I looked at how to make the custom faceplate that I put on him in episode 72, I do believe, where I also talk about how you can fix things like ball joints and hinges with floor polish and really what it is you're looking for to do that. But I like this scaling. I think that this works well. So let's get down to the brass tacks of why we're here, and that's to give this guy a grade. Paint apps. Like, you know it's Bumblebee, but you'd look at him and you would think, like, there's something not right here. I'm going to say it's an 8. Not because he's so accurate, but because I feel like he was intended to be stylized. He was intended to look like he's armored up for battle, and I can believe that if B kind of struck an armored up pose in the movies that he would have looked like this. I can buy it, and so I'm going to give it an A. Plus there's gorgeously molded detail, and I dig that. So we'll say an 8. In terms of the transformation, 10. And I say that because it is so intuitive. Like, it was interesting. Enough of him was a puzzle to figure out that, like, it was fun to figure him out, but like none of it was hard. Everything moved just like you would think it would, and I like that. I think that is genius engineering. When I have to struggle to figure out how something works, I don't enjoy it. I might respect the genius that goes into the design behind it, but I don't enjoy it. And for me, I want to be able to enjoy these guys. So far, he has an 8 and a 10. He's getting a 9. What about the articulation? Well, That's where he falters just a little bit. Not to say it's bad, but it could have been better. The head is on a ball joint. It can go left and right and kind of up and down a little bit. I already said that the door wings here, they can go down if you want, they can go up, they can go out a little bit, back. This piece I already explained how it can fold up underneath or up on the back. The arms. The shoulders can go all the way around. The arms can go way out to the side. Yay! I don't know. Bicep swivel, 90-degree elbow. Now, it looks like he's begging for energon here because he does have the hand stuck in this position. There is no wrist swivel. Or you can have the hand facing more naturally, but now the elbow isn't. So he does have the gorilla arms. The legs, I guess if you want, you can also fold these yellow pieces back out of the way. The legs, they can go out to about there. It's all right. Nothing at the waist, no waist rotation from what I can tell. Legs way forward. They can go, well, they kind of hit kibble, but they can go back a fair ways. We have a thigh swivel. We have a 90-degree knee. There's some kibble around there, but we have a 90-degree knee. And the feet, I guess, can like kind of go forward and back a little bit. The toe tilts. It helps, but it's too bad he doesn't have an ankle rocker. You know, ankle tilt would have been nice. Still, the guy stands like an absolute champion, and you can't fault him for that. It's better than what a lot of figures do nowadays. He has a couple of weaknesses. He's good with a couple of glaring weaknesses. Most notably the waist and the lack of a wrist. For that, I'm giving him a 7. The overall score for this guy, because he was getting a 9, now a 7 for articulation, I'm going to say he's an 8. Okay, so here we are again, and you know by now that this guy cost me $1. You know, he doesn't have his Mechtech accessory, but who cares? He was $1, man, and he's intact, and I had no instructions, and I was able to figure out very intuitively his conversion. It's interesting, but anything but hard. And I respect it for that. The engineering hit on that sweet spot of being fun and interesting that, you know, everybody of all ages can enjoy it and find something to like about it without being kind of overly cumbersome and getting in the way of itself. Like the way the feet fold up and unfurl for robot mode are fantastic. Even the way the arms kind of curl up underneath here is great. About the only faults that I can give this iteration of Bumblebee is a lack of a waist and gorilla arms. But, you know, it came out in what, 2011, I guess? You know, I don't think we would forgive it today. Maybe we forgave it a little easier back in those simpler times. Maybe we didn't and still complained about it. I don't know. I think that they could have probably done something different with his hands, or at least given him a little bit of a rotation. But overall, I think that this is a solid B. Yes, it's stylized, but it doesn't hide that fact. It's supposed to be stylized. It's supposed to have a bit of a different look. So I respect it for what it is. It's very functional. The plastic feels great, and he feels good in the hand. Like nothing feels like it's going to fall off. Nothing feels like it's really kind of getting in the way and banging into each other. His door wings can be manipulated however it is that kind of suits your taste. I think he's a win for a Bumblebee. Who knew I could enjoy a Bumblebee figure? Especially one from several years ago. Anyway, let me know what you think about this guy. Let me know what you think about him, especially in comparison to some of the newer releases that we've gotten, especially in light of the upcoming Bumblebee movie. I don't know. I wish we still had more figures like this. Oh, but I do also like the fact that this very much sort of relates, I suppose, to the Siege line. I'm not even going to say, I was going to say upcoming, but in some places it's already out. I mean, we have all of these ports. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. 2 more on his arms in robot mode. That's 7. I don't know. Did they take a nod from the times of Mechtech in looking at designs for the Siege line? Who knows? Anyway, let me know what you think about this guy. You know that I appreciate you giving me some of your extremely valuable time, and I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.